So here's my question, right? And I think I had described this situation to you a little, but you get these kind of questions in the group too. You know, I mean, you answer them, you know, here and there, but this is my situation. When I first met you, I was fresh out of school, or pretty fresh out, had really nothing in savings, plus you're saving up for all the other stuff in your life. You guys, Nate, Mike, the other folks to some extent, your investments have, the projects you're involved with have outstripped what I would be able to monetarily invest in. So I've been involved as an attorney. That's great. It's a great experience for me. But now the amount of money I could personally invest is not, the projects you're at, it's not the amount of money you're looking for from investors. For somebody who would be in the range of single family homes here in Cincinnati, let's say, and it probably relates to other cities, what should I be looking at? What sort of properties should I be targeting? Is it distressed physically properties? Is it foreclosures? Is it all of the above? Do you see what I mean? As opposed to when I first got out of school, there was a glut of foreclosures. That was the clear range. It had been stupid to say, well, I'm going to focus on estate properties. I mean, if you find one, great, but you're focusing on one thing. I'm saying, obviously be open to deals wherever they're at. I comprehend that. But beyond that, is there something that, you know, if you could focus and say, here's where you could focus and get the most value versus all these other categories?
Well, I think it's always the path of least resistance, right? For me, you know, we do deals all the time that I see that can make $1 million on, but I'm passing. It's too much work, right? So you want easy deals because it really comes down to how much time did you put in that deal. In other words, if I did a deal and I made $1 million off of it, but we had, you know, 6,000, 10,000 hours in it, it really didn't make much. It made $100 an hour. Whereas opposed to, let's say, a deal that I could do to make 250,000, and we only had, you know, let's say 100 hours in it. You know, now you're making a little better money. So that's what really matters in deals. And you're an attorney, so you are a high income earner, and then your wife does.
She works at the university. She's a program manager.
Now I know you guys. Congratulations, man! You guys got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
Proud of you, brother.
Thank you.
Proud of you, man. So John just got married last week, but she's 6 months pregnant. No, I'm just kidding. They did it right. You know, so you guys got married. How long have you been?
You're trying to get me in trouble? No, 1.5 years. So it was
all right.
November of
Let's pull the date up and make sure. No, it's 1.5 years, and then so what's her goal though, long term?
Career-wise, or
does she want to just stay at home, raise a kid, or does she like working?
She likes working. She's going to continue to work. We're both going to make some adjustments there, but
Because the reason I'm asking you is because if she could be a real estate professional, then she could offset you paying any taxes, right?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So,
sure, that's an option.
So that's why I'm asking you, because you're asking me what should you do, right? And that's a big part of it is not how much money you make, how much you keep always. So
okay.
You got to think. I got a buddy of mine who's making. He was at my last party making $200,000-300,000 a month doing mortgages, right? And he was like literally, you know, making $80,000 or $100,000 a year. Now he just shot up where he's going to make over $1 million a year. So he went to his wife and said, hey, look, honey, you're going to have to quit your job. We're going to invest in real estate. We're going to offset. So that's all. But I think that houses are great, but what do you have time to do?
Great question. Great question, because I'm a full-time attorney. Right. I have run a business. And that's real estate adjacent, but is not directly real estate. You know, it's a part of it. And so, one, I have some amount of capital, right, that I could be an investor. And I could be a little more active as an attorney because I know that end of it to some extent.
I mean, is that what you want to do, though? What's your goal?
To make money.
To make money, but is it to, like, okay, so what is your goal? And I'm asking you all this because I'm trying to get somewhere. And I'm trying to show people, like, what is your know what your goal is, right?
No, right.
So if you could pick a number, and let's just say passively, because look, I can go show you how to make $10, $20, $30 million, but that doesn't mean you can stop working, right? But if you want to live a good lifestyle, how much passive income do you need?
Right.
Because you know why? Tax man, for my house, about over $2,000 a month, right? I got to pay him whether I'm working or not. So if you got passive income, now if I got a chunk of change, every month it's going down. But if I got that passive income, So what is your goal? Do you want to make accumulate money or passive income?
Let me give you a goal. I've got a goal for you. I would like to have in the next 3 years, after tax, in addition to what I'm making and my wife makes, $250,000 cash that I could apply to a major outstanding debt.
Okay. So,
and if you catching my generation, you're probably understanding what that is and where that's
man, absolutely, brother. So I think that's a great goal. But what I would tell you is even probably better is I had to think about this. Do you really want to take 2% money? Is it 2 or 3%? It's higher, much higher.
6 or something.
I know where you're going.
Favorable.
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
And let me tell you exactly how you can get out of debt in 3 years.
Okay, great.
You got to BRRRR.
Yeah.
That's it. If you BRRRR, you're out of debt, man. Yeah. And I'm gonna give you, you've helped me with the course. I'm gonna give you one of the courses. I want you to sit down with your wife. I want you to do this. I'm gonna help you, brother, just like you've always helped me. And you are gonna be in 3 years that debt's paid off. And you know how you're gonna do it? BRRRR, baby.
Okay.
BRRRR. So look, you can do it on anything, man. I mean, if you watch us BRRRR, you know, man, big apartments, hotels, you watch us do it all. It's all the same thing. So all you're doing is you understand the whole thing, right? You really do.
BRRRR?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So if you understand it, then in 3 years, what we need to get you to is about 14 houses, right?
Yes, yeah.
So 14.
That sounds right.
14 houses, we can probably get you 10 to, actually 10, 8, actually only a dozen. You only need a dozen houses.
Right. Yeah, well.
You need a dozen houses. You get a dozen houses, I can show you, you're going to pay that off. So we got to get you started with your first house. Investment property. Here
was a joke, and I don't know how good it is for the group.
Because see, here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you buy and you flip a house, what happens? It's short-term capital gain. You're going to lose 50% of the money.
Right.
You're going to lose at least 40% because you're a high net.
I've told people from the beginning, after meeting you guys in particular, the way to there's money to be made in real estate. And I don't want to contradict you too much. The term passive income is, like, to me, the worst thing that's ever happened to the real estate industry. And I'll tell you why. It's not passive. You're on the phone here. You're doing work. I understand it's a different kind of work. It's a different kind of lifestyle. It does free you up. It's attractive in a number of ways. I'm not trying to say it's not attractive. It absolutely is. But it is not passive. And the people who...
It is passive.
The people who...
It is, John.
Okay.
Look, I got properties that I bought back in 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Haven't been to in 10 years.
You haven't...
Now, the part when I'm buying more properties, that is not passive, right?
Right.
But I'm going to get that to passive, and I'm going to throw it over there, and it's done. We just completed one right all the move-ins Tuesday. We completed one. We're in for $1.8 million. We got $1.4 million debt on it. It's worth $5.4 million. That's one property. When $4 million on one property, that's a BRRRR. We're going to go BRRRR at least $2 million cash out.
I'm sure.
And I'm telling you right now, that property right there, that property, after the next 60 days, I will not go to that property anymore. It's passive.
I understand. But let me tell you where I'm coming from. When I first started as an attorney, we had a lot of people from out of state coming to invest in Cincinnati because it was so cheap. And it was insanely cheap in people in New York, California, et cetera. And a lot of them got burned. Why? Because they thought, I'll just buy a property. Well, you got to have a property manager. You got to deal with them. They have a crappy property manager.
Happened was that the need wasn't there yet, right? Who created the need?
But people like you made money. People huge areas.
But we were really good operators, though. We made money because
the operation really is work. That's not passive. And I'm not trying be a BRRRR is not passive by definition. What I'm trying to say is you attracted, not you. The term passive income to some extent attracts part of the people that it attracts don't want, literally think it's like when you put money into a mutual fund. And it's not that. That's
definitely
my point.
not that.
That's my point. That's my only
not
point.
that.
But I have said from the beginning, and the one part is that the biggest part of BRRRR that I think is hardest for people is I guess I can't tell you which R it is, but basically that you have to run it out and get it income generating.
Then
that's the critical part. That
then
part
is passive.
I understand, right? But you have to get to that point,
and that's what I'm telling people.
Don't want to do that.
That's what I'm telling people. In 5 years, you will have to run for 5 years. After that 5 years, and I'm being conservative, I'm telling you, you're going to have $7,000 to $9,000 a month in passive income. That's only $200, a little over $200 per property, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not where the money's at. Here's the money. You're looking for property that's going to be $160,000. That's in an area that you can get 5% inflation, right? How do we know 5% appreciation? How do we know those type of areas? Because we're going to dig into the job market. We're going to dig 38% of home buyers right now are millennials, right? Yeah. So 12 years ago, they weren't quite there yet. We knew they were going to hit 30 in 2011. I was in a group and we said, that's who's going to pull us out of this oversupply of houses that we had. Yeah. We knew who was going to do it. We just had to wait for it to take time. And then by the government dropping rates down and by inflation, and right now, who was that I was on the phone with yesterday? They're about to have a huge shortage. You're not going to be able to pour foundations because these aluminum clips. I don't know if you heard about all that.
No,
but there's so much. Okay, so these forms that you go form up your foundations with.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
there's these aluminum clips. They can't get them right now, and so well, you could just go buy a new set of forms, but they're $100,000 if you want to use the ones that use the steel. And so what right now you have so many things that are driving inflation. And then you have, right now, you have about 1 million home starts this year, a little over 1 million home starts, right? Yeah. But the need is 2.5 million. We're 2.5 million short, right? And so you're 2.5 million short. You start 1 million. Next year, how many homes do you have short? It's not 1.5 million because your need goes up. Yeah. It's probably 2.4 million. So you only took $100,000 or 100,000 dent out. The reason why is because right now it costs so much money to build. I mean, we got a 2-ton AC unit the other day, and it was $935. They called me. My guys were like, man, that's too much. I knew that was too much, but they were there. They were at Johnstone. Johnstone's expensive. Get it done for our tenant. But don't you dare go back there. So I called our vendor. I said, hey, man, how much is our 2-ton unit? Because we audit this stuff every quarter. It's $740. I said, well, dang, it was just $609. He said, yeah, I know. We've had some price increases, by the way. We got another one coming June 1st, which means what? When a home builder builds a house, he doesn't say, hey, man, that's great, man. I had to pay extra $100, so I want to charge you extra $100. He says, no, I had to pay extra $100. I got to make my margin. I'm going to charge you extra $120. Right. I want everything, right? Lumber right now was $9 a square foot to build a normal house. Lumber right now is $33 a square foot. So if you had a 2,000 square foot house, went from $18,000 to $66,000, right? Yeah, yeah. All these things are going to do what? With the cheaper houses, the $160,000 house is going to drive it up. Yeah, because the cost to build a house right now is $400,000. Now, if you're buying $400,000 and $500,000 to $600,000 houses, that's where the risk is at in BRRRR. But if you're BRRRing $160,000 house, I can almost tell you in some areas that you're going to continue to get 5% a year compounded. That $160,000 house is worth $204. Yeah, that's where your wealth is made. But you BRRRRed it. You were in it for $120. You could have sold it for $160 and netted $25,000 on a flip, right? Right. $25,000 times 30 properties over 5 years, $750. But you pay taxes. You're only walking away with $5.25. You made $525,000 over 5 years. It's a job. That's $100,000 a year. Right. Right. And I'm not saying that's not good pay, but you're not going to get rich making $100,000 a year. Right. No. Correct. Right. You get rich investing. Right. Yeah. Letting things go up in value. So let's say you would have kept them 30 houses. Right. What do you think would have happened? Right. You'd have had $200 a month in cash flow times 60 months. That's $12,000 per house. However many you had, they're all different, which is the chart I'm putting together to show you how you make the million. Because some of them you would have held 60 months, some of them you would have held 1 month by the time that was over. But at the end of those 60 months, you got 30 houses that you're making $250 on because rents are going to go up too. And ultimately, what's going to happen, John? You said it. What happens when we go into an inflationary market? The government has to raise interest rates. So if you lock in long-term debt right now, what's going to happen to your $225 margin, $200 per month margin? It's going to go. It's going to way up. Right, now you're going to make $600 a month off each other because you're, boom, property values are going to jump, rents are going to jump, and your expenses are going to be pretty much locked in, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's not passive getting there, but once you get that done, them 30, you hire your property manager, then it becomes passive.
Right, right.
Because what I showed you guys in the group is always, a lot of people say, well, I make more than that. Well, and no, you don't, because I know properties. Well, yeah, but I don't have to pay the maintenance guy. I am the maintenance guy. Well, I don't have to pay the property manager. I am the property manager. I go and cut the grass. I'm like, dude, no. Then your time's worth nothing. Come and work for me. I'll give you $1 an hour. And that's, so people don't value their time. And that's why we got, in the course, we show them to value their time too, right? Yeah. But you had over 2 million houses in 1975 that were being built to help service the baby boomers. Well, do you know that there's more millennials than there were baby boomers?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, why aren't we building that many?
I don't know.
Because they can't afford to buy them.
Okay.
If you go build a new house, what's the cost to build a new?
$400.
$400 to $500 in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Who can afford a $400,000 house? How much income do you need? A lot more than
80 at least.
A lot more than
57.6,
which is 57.6 is your average median.
Right.
You can't buy it. You can't buy it because on a $400,000 house, taxes are at least 2%, 2.2%. That's $8,800 a year, right?
Yeah.
That's what, $650, $700 a month. Then your insurance is going to be $150. You're at $900. You can only afford $1,100 mortgage, and a mortgage on $400,000 is going to be more than that.
Right, a lot more. Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you guys to lock in. Telling you to lock in. You want to buy those cheaper, lower end houses. You want to buy them. You want to hang on to them. They go every night. You go to sleep. You wake up. Guess what happens? They went up in value.
Right.
As they go up in value, what happens? You come in and you take that cash out and you pay off whatever you need to pay off. Because you can borrow the money against that, because ultimately that LLC, the house is going to pay that loan off that you pull the money out and push it over there as you pay off your other debt. Right?
Right.
The house has to work hard. But the problem is that in society, we are not taught to invest. We are taught to go, it's almost like a scare thing. Like, man, why would you want to do that? That's too much risk. If something goes wrong, you can file bankruptcy on all that. Now, I ain't saying you want to do that, but you can walk away. When you're talking student debt and stuff like, man, ain't no bankruptcy. Right?
Right.
So, how long did it take me to come out of bankruptcy? You watched me come out in 2013.
Yeah, I did.
How long did it take me? In 2 years, man, I was done. I was I'm moving to Florida.
You were already, right, yeah.
I was moving for 2 years.
I remember. Yeah.
Had enough passive income to retire. Because all that was gone. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
All the millions of dollars. And the banks, I worked it out with the banks and came in and bought a bunch of properties back from the bank, created win-wins, man. So when everybody's saying it's a bad time to get in real estate, because they're saying that because the market's been good for so long.
Yeah.
But what I need you to look at is the real numbers. Why do we need these houses? What's likely to happen? How does the government get out of debt? The government needs inflation. They're going to cause inflation. They're going to do this $15 an hour minimum wage. Guess what happens to my guys that make $21 an hour? What do you think I'm going to do the day they do that? I'm going to come in and get them a $4 or $5 an hour raise.
Right.
You know why? Because it's only fair.
Well, right. You'd have to, even if, yeah, right.
You don't have to. There's some years buffer. But as soon as that happens, I've already ran it and said, you know what? I'm going to do that. Because I'm going to show them like, nah, man, you ain't about to get all that. My guys ain't getting it. No, I'm going to give it to them. Boom, right there. Done.
Sure.
Because why? My guys don't generate money in a traditional manner like, well, we're going to have to charge a customer more. No, we just go make more money in real estate. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it. So that's my answer, that it's a great time to buy real estate. Always.
Okay.
But that you need to know